Welcome to Homeschool with Bookshark. My name is Jana Cook, and I am Bookshark's community manager. Today, I'm joined with Lynn Woodly, our product expert. We're going to be talking through our new product, which is Virtual, how it can help you with bookkeeping and accountability. If you're watching this video live, if you have any questions or comments, please use the chat box on the side of the screen. If you're watching this as a replay and you have anything you'd like to have answered or you have a comment for us, you can email us main@bookshark.com. Lynn, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Super excited to be talking about a new product that Bookshark has released. First of all, let's just start with the basics. What is Bookshark Virtual?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be sharing this because it's an exciting product and I think there are so many different advantages. So Bookshark Virtual is you get the literature-based curriculum like you always have, and it's an additional online assessment of everything that your kids are doing. So that's basically what it is. You're still reading all the packages that you get with us, and then you get to do the assessment pieces online, like our activity sheets. They're online for science and language arts. You upload math work. You get to actually have the comprehensive questions that are in our history. It's on there. So we've never had an activity sheet for our history piece. It's all, discussion with parents and vocabulary and mapping and timeline. You get some of that online now, which is really kind of a cool piece too.
I would say one of the biggest benefits that my family has enjoyed is the geography online, because that's something, it's one of those pieces that kind of can get pushed to the side, just honestly, because you shouldn't, but it happens. And so now, because we're using the virtual online piece, she is doing it on the computer, and it's not something that I forget. Right? She sees it. It's a task she has to do. The other thing that I loved is that it's a little bit more even enhanced on virtual. You get some extra pictures, whether they're maps or actual photography of the locations, and then a little bit more information about that location. And so we've really been enjoying that part of it.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of different benefits you get from using the virtual, which do you want me to start talking about those?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, those benefits are, number one, if you have a student that tends to trudge a little bit, it really does give them that accountability. And some kids just need that little bit of independence. It gives the independence because they can go on in the morning. They can look up what books you are going to read. They can look up what pages you are going to read. So if you wanted them to have a little bit more independence to help you gather everything for the day, that could be one of their assignments. Go get the books we're going to read, write on the bookmark what pages we need to read today, or what pages I need to read to you today. It's there, and they can look at it on their phone or on a tablet or on their computer. So it gives that independence. The other thing is too that, sometimes kids don't want to do the handwritten part. It's more exciting to do it online. So that gives them that independence as well. So it takes a little bit of that trudging away. It takes and gives them accountability as well. So they're accountable to do the different tasks. The beauty of it is that those multiple choice, true, false, those types of questions, drag and drop, those are actually automatically graded. So the children will see an immediate response. And I don't know about you, Jana, but for myself, when I was homeschooling, I didn't grade. I didn't grade because I didn't feel it was necessary. And I still believe it really isn't necessary. You just review the work and make sure they're on the right track. But kids sometimes like that affirmation of the grading. Now, one thing with the grading, though, is they'll get it, they'll see if it's green or red to see if they've got it right or wrong. But at the end of that assignment, if they've gotten a written piece in there that they've had to write something, somebody has to grade that prior to that grade being exactly correct. So let's say that you have multiple choice or those auto graded pieces and a written piece. Even if you've gotten 100% on this auto part, it could be 68% because of the weight of the written piece. So somebody on the other side has to go in and remark, add, grade, pass, fail, whatever, however you want to do that, then it will balance that grade to what it should be. One of the things that I think is kind of cool, Jenna, is if you have a child that is good in their writing skills and really wants to go ahead in that. And you have kind of the philosophy that I have, where grading really isn't important, but on the written things, it is important to proof our work, right? You and I have to do that at work all the time. And if I write something and I look at it the next week, I go, oh my goodness, that needs to be this way. I can't believe I wrote it that way. Just the same with kids when they're learning. So I have recommended to several families who are on virtual with children that are good writers and really excel at that, to have them do the written work and upload it and put it in there, and then have the kids themselves in the following week go in on mom's side, the teacher's side, review their work, comment on their work themselves, and then go back and, give themselves a grade if they want to at that point, or if they want to give themselves another try, so that they can go back on their student side and then redo the work, like that it was a first draft. So then let's do a second draft. Let's do, as you go along, that will help a child in their own writing. I mean, that's how Benjamin Franklin learned. He would write, put it down, pick it back up the next week, and then redo it again and go, oh, okay, that needed to be changed. This needs to be changed. So it's a way that kids can actually self-grade if they want to, and they'll learn to be fair to themselves. They're not going to cheat on that because they're going to see, their errors just like we do.
Yeah. I think the idea of having, maybe let's talk a little bit more about how there's a student side and a teacher or / parent side, so that our audience understands what's behind that.
Right. Okay. So on the teacher side, the parent can have several different of all their children under them. If they're all on one level, then we have that. If they've got different language arts or different math pieces, mom is going to see that. Let's say that they have a situation where they are a charter where they get this, but they have a teacher of record. So that teacher of record, they can sign up, and then that teacher of record can view and see what's going on, to see what the family's doing. Also calling, if they have a call with them or a meeting with them, they know exactly what they're learning and they can actually see that. They can also pull records if records need to be kept in your state. So that's kind of a cool thing too, because the teacher can go in and pick out whichever pieces he or she wants. So that is another wonderful piece to this, is that we can set it up how you need it set up. So like in Michigan, I have schools and their teachers are actually working with the students. The parent is working with the kids at home, doing the reading and all that, but the teachers grade the work and comment on the work. So it can actually be set up however the student goes on. The students doesn't see the teacher side. They see their pieces, they see their work that needs to be done, they see everything, but they don't see answers. So it's all in there and ready for them to do, and they can interact with it that way. They can upload work from the phone, from any kind of a device. They can upload their math work or written work. They can type out answers, upload that sheet. We even have it so that they can fill out their activity sheet, in person, because they'll get that in their kit, in their package. They can do it all handwritten. So if you have a younger student that doesn't want to do it on the computer, or maybe you don't want them to do it on the computer, they can upload that. The only thing is that then won't have automatic grading. It will all be hand graded, which is fine too. Or you just go in there as a parent and do pass fail. It's up to you how you want to do that. So it's really very flexible, and it's ready for the needs that you will have.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, there is a student account. So your student, you'll sign your student up, and they will have their own access to the same program that the parent has access to / teacher, depending on your state. And then that is a separate account, but the parent / teacher can see exactly what the student is doing.
They can see exactly, and they can actually turn their parent teacher site into the student. So they can see the student view as well. Okay. So it's really good. It's now just some technical things. If you are both signed in to Canvas that we're using right now, if you're signed in both together on one device, you need to have two separate browsers. Because if you don't, for whatever reason, whatever technical issue, it'll blend the two accounts, and then it'll be a mess, and we have to, wipe it out and clean out and reset. And so if you're doing that, you just have to think about, one site, it's just like our site. We can't have one email be for different types of accounts. One email will only fit one account. So it's that same way. It's a technical thing that you have to think, oh yeah, that's not going to work. Or you use two different types of browsers. So it is good for the student to have their own device to do this on. But if you only have one in your family, then you just use different browsers, or you make sure you log out, close that tab, and then log in again. So that's just one of those things that you do want to watch. It's just a technical thing. It has nothing to do with the program. It's just the technical side of stuff. And Jana, you and I both know how that works sometimes. And I know Jana loves technology.
Yes, well, I enjoy the benefits of technology. I dislike when technology does not work. So that's good to know. And that is something that, just if you're going to sign up for this program, it's one of those small little things. If it does happen, we have support that can help sort it out for you. And then we, not to do it again. But so we just.
I would say though, too, just as a side, because we are talking virtual, when you do place your order for that, it goes into a queue, and then one of our people sees that in there that you have a virtual seat, and then it goes in the spreadsheet, and she sends an email. And that email that you get is to have you fill out a form. It's a Google form that then we work off of to set you, your student, and or your teacher of record. So you do need to know your order numbers, and you need to know what levels they are in and what levels you've purchased for them, because all of that is verified before it's put in. So those are just some little pieces that were a little bumpy this year with people not really understanding. So just know that you will get an email from main@bookshark.com with the information. And it's so good to read all of the information. I know there's a lot in there. And because it is technology, because it is a different system, I would just make sure you read it a couple of times, because it's that whole idea of you don't understand the language yet. So it's good to reread it and go, oh, now I get it. So it's that form. And once we get that form, it generates the person to put in and have all the details that are needed. And then she has to verify the orders. So all of that information is needed so that we can do a proper setup for your family and for your kids.
I have to admit that when I first signed up for virtual this year, I had to call the help desk myself in order to.
What was causing you the need to call? Just.
So I probably, I can say I didn't read through all of the information. And I was stuck, and I'm like, this isn't working. Why isn't this working? And then when I called, they were like, oh, did you see this little part, how you were my responsibility of it, what I was supposed to do? And I said, oh, but they were very helpful. They were very quick, and they got it taken care of. Now I've had the same issue, but my daughter's been able to help me this time figure it out. So you do not have to be technologically savvy in order to use Bookshark Virtual.
No, you don't. And it's really important that you do read that email. And also it can go into your spam. So just be watching for it just a few days after you order. If your school is ordering for you, just know when they order, because sometimes it's a couple of weeks after you've ordered from them that they get the order actually to us. But also, if you're ordering with a school, make sure that you tell them that they have to include your email, because that also takes a little longer. So your email needs to be on that order if you have a virtual seat, so that we can get that email out to you, because the schools, don't have the need for that piece. It's you guys that need that. So, but there's just such great response for having this piece, and that is that independence for the kids and accountability. I know my son was a trudger from time to time because he didn't have a sibling that he was kind of had that peer pressure, sibling peer pressure. So for me, it would have been good because I think he would have done really well on that without me saying, come on, come on, come on, let's get this done. So I just see it as a wonderful benefit for the family or the parent who, have one or many. It just gives you that time to say, okay, go do your work. And that they are seeing that. And once they get a red mark, I'm going to say that they're probably going to try harder and listen deeper because they know they're going to be asked that question and they're going to want a green mark, not a red mark. So it is just one of those things. If your kids like those little stars and like those add a girl, add a boy kind of response, that's what they will get. And it is fun. Now, Jana was saying that she liked it for the mapping. Personally, we loved the mapping in hand. And I would really recommend you keep doing that. But like she said, there are added benefits and you see pictures from the locations or you see different things from the locations. And that is really cool. That is a really fun thing to see, so kids can actually see sometimes that time frame of that location. So that's also beneficial in there.
I like the accountability piece is not only for the student, but also can be for the parent, because
Right.
I know that I would say, oh, did you get your work done? Yes, I got it done. And then it wouldn't be to the end of the week when I had the chance to start going through things and go, this isn't done. This isn't done. But now it's easy as logging on and seeing, did she get the work done? Is it done? And if it's not, then I can go right away and say, hey, this isn't done yet, as opposed to waiting like I used to do. And then getting, I don't know, further behind, if you will, with homeschool.
Yeah.
And then who wants to do a whole week's worth of fixes and catch-ups? And that doesn't make it any fun.
No, it doesn't. And this also, because we are seeing a larger number of families where both parents are working and homeschooling. Some of them can be working at home, or some of them can be working part-time away from home. But this gives the parent the ability to also look to see what their children are doing when they're away at the office. They can log in and see if their work is being done. So it gives them that ability to say, hey, I see you haven't gotten this done. Whereas before it's all written and you don't know. They could tell you, oh yeah, I got it done. So did you really? And then you get home and they really haven't. They've been messing around. So it does give that huge accountability, especially for families who are both working, or perhaps it's a single parent that's homeschooling. We have several of those as well. So this is just an added awesome feature that does, and I would say there's two huge major factors for this, and that's the independence for the student, it's the accountability for the student. So it's just a wonderful piece for that. We also, I just want to add one thing. We do have a mentor program for the language arts. So it's called LAMP, Language Arts Mentor Program. Right now, we don't have any more openings for this year, but for next year, perhaps you look at, if you want somebody to help in the grading portion and comments for their writing, we don't start that until level D and up, and it's graduated as far as the time it takes the teacher to grade the work. And as you go up in age, of course, it takes longer to grade that. So it's going to cost more. It's really a great feature that you can do or add.
I know I've talked to a lot of parents who will say, I don't know how to grade this. How do I help them be a better writer if I'm not a good writer myself? And so, yes, in our traditional packages, we do have the rubric to help you go through, but even that sometimes can be intimidating for a parent if that is not, your forte. Say you have a math or science degree and how am I going to help my kid become a good writer? So the Added on LAMP program, the Language Arts Mentor Program, is a wonderful tool that if you don't have the time, you feel like you don't have the time to dedicate to make sure that your child is excelling in this area, then you have this beautiful opportunity to let a professional go ahead
Right.
and step in for you while you still have autonomy as a homeschooler, while you still have your children at home. So I mean, it's an amazing blend of a traditional homeschool with some added benefits to not only having immediate grading, record keeping, some more accountability. Your child is, if you're looking to have your child in front of a computer to get them a little bit more comfortable with different programs, you know, here they have an opportunity. But it really is, can be a great benefit to families. I know that myself, I work part-time, I'm homeschooling my daughter. And while I'm home most of the time, I am not focused on what she is doing, but she's 12 and in the upper levels. And so she has a lot of independence. But there are those days, again, it was like, is that done? Oh yeah, it wasn't done. Oh, I forgot. Well, none of that anymore, which is, as a parent, it takes the weight off of me where I don't feel like I'm failing so much as I'm trying to maybe do too much, working and homeschooling and all the other things that we have in life. So it's been a definite benefit in our home because of that.
Yeah, and I want to put in there one more thing that we were very sure about at the beginning. We weren't doing it, and then I had this requested from a school that I was asking, you know, how does this look to you? How will this fit into your program? Getting advice from them and feedback from them. And one of the things she said is, we have our students, and this isn't all states, that go into test, and they need to know how to take that test. They need to know how to do a drag and drop. They need to know what true false means in the whole scheme of things. They need to know how to do multiple choice. They need to know how to add in text in there. So all the different features that are in testing, because all testing is electronic now, unless you request a paper copy, but most of it is, all states are requiring electronic testing. So that gives your child the ability, even like let's say you're testing for third grade, that student doesn't have to go on there and try to learn that while they're also trying to take a timed test. They are experienced in that already. They understand those pieces in there. And that's one of the things that we were really at the very beginning, really aware of, that we wanted to put all those different types of activities in a test in our program.
Well, experience is an amazing teacher. And so like you said, it's not the first time you may ask your child a true false question, but they may not seeing it in print. That
Right.
could be, I mean, I would be stressed out personally
Yeah.
to take a test that I didn't understand the format in any way. So that was great foresight when putting this program together.
Yeah.
So Lynn, if you had a family who were maybe on the fence, like, I don't know if I really need to add this to my homeschool experience, what would you say to them?
I would ask what their home life was, what her timeline was, what her ideas were, if they had any trudgers. Just I would try to get the feeling of what her home is and how her children respond. It's if they're responding well and getting things done in a timely manner, and not having any of that trudging, they get done in her time frame that she wants to get done with no extra homework needed ever, then I would say, you know what, you're probably good. You probably don't need this. If they're in a state that doesn't require, if they're using government funding and they don't require that they have records or hand in records, she probably doesn't need this unless she wants to forward her kids to be a little bit more independent, or if she's in a job that she's a little busier and she feels a little guilty. This is kind of a little bit of a handhold for her. It's walking alongside her a little bit without a real person, so it gives her a little bit more flexibility. It really truly depends on your situation on if it would. I think personally, it would help all families. It would help the children just one more step into giving them that adulting, that independence, giving them a wider curb to be able to follow along so that they have accountability to themselves. It's not just to you, and it takes the onus off of you. It takes the onus onto the computer, because one of the things you could do, because you want to stay mom, but also teacher. But if a student says, oh, I've got that done, you can say, oh, and I want to go visit Susie or Joey or whoever, and we have things we want to go do. All you say is, oh, just a minute, let me check the computer, because it's the computer that's going to tell them no, not you. And that is nice, because as mom, we don't always want to tell our kids no, but we also want them to be accountable for what they should do. And if you have to ruffle through all the papers for the day, or go look at their portfolio that they put their paperwork in for the day and make sure that they check it all, that's going to take you a lot longer. And you're probably going to say, oh, just go ahead. And then tomorrow you find out, you didn't do it. So this really does give mom a little, the parent, a lot more freedom in those activities. And we already know, and we all know, parenting is, a give and take, but it's also, what one thing can I take off my plate? And when you're homeschooling, that's a full-time job. It is a full-time job, and you have to give yourself credit for that full-time job. And it's a real full-time job. It's paid with love. It's not paid financially. So getting this support is just one of those things that's going to help you do that homeschool, because we are not the traditional homeschool so as much anymore. Yes, we do, where one parent is working, one's at home. But even when you're at home, you have the dishes, you have the house cleaning, you have the laundry, you have the bills, you have the grocery shopping, you have the getting the clothes together, you have all of the things, and then loving your children. So it's just a beautiful piece that you can add that just goes, oh, let's balance this a little bit more for you. Let's hold your hand in this a little bit. And I think that is beautiful. So if I were still homeschooling, I would add it.
So Bookshark itself, we have one of our claims to fame is that it is a box curriculum. Like you open it up from wherever you at, and you can hit the ground running. So now it's almost like with virtual, you can hit the ground running maybe 10 pounds lighter or on dry pavement. We're going to have to coin something to, because it went from being such a wonderful user-friendly curriculum to even a step further now, helping parents, use Bookshark with ease. And so hopefully the people who are listening will grasp some of that and some of the things that we said. We do also have, again, the support system that if you do sign up for virtual, we have a department that is dedicated to helping you figure out the bugs. If you have questions, we have YouTube videos that have been done to help you figure out how to navigate the interface. So we just want to make sure that we set you up for success if you choose to add this into your program. Lynn, do you have any closing thoughts?
I would just say, give it a try. And one of the things I would say is, just like with our packages, we give discounts in those packages. So you get the best price, of course, if you do the all subject package, and then it breaks down from there. And as with everything, we give everybody the same discount. Nobody gets a better discount than anybody else. Everybody gets the same car for the same price. So just know that you are getting the best deal, especially if you do the all subject package. Then that's where we get the 20% off on all the products and this. So that's where I would say, you have the best deal. And really, if you pan it out for the 180 days, it's really not that costly.
Well, we want to know if you guys have any questions. So again, feel free to comment in the chat box or send us any comments or questions that you have, main@bookshark.com. I want to thank you for taking the time. Lynn, thank you so much for helping explain a little bit more about our new product, Bookshark Virtual, and we'll see you guys next time.